on issues affecting you in the UK. Join us live every Monday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and on the business segment of Dialogue in Diaspora, 2 to 3 p.m. every Monday. But guess what? You can be part of the program. Just send us an email at bentelevisionuk@gmail.com. Dialogue in Diaspora, your voice, your opinion on our TV.
The high rate of terrorism and militant attacks in the country. The Nigerian army is seeking your support. Terrorists, militants, and other forms of criminals are not ghosts. They reside amongst you and me. And the Nigerian army is doing everything possible to eradicate terrorism in the country. If you sense anything or anyone, suspect something or someone, please say it. You can also visit the nearest military unit in your vicinity for necessary actions to be taken against the criminals. Help us to keep you safe. Security is our collective responsibility. Let's all work together to achieve greatness. Again, if you see anything, say something. Your security is our priority. Let's all collectively say no to terrorism.
Back from our newsroom, and that very short break, still on Dialogue in Diaspora. My name is still Tunde Alabi, here from our Ben Television Studios here in London. Now joined by Michael Oladeji. He's a colonel in the Nigerian Army and a retired one, and who served the Nigeria government, the Nigeria Army, and the Nigerian people and the Nigerian nation in his capacity in the Nigerian Army as a retired colonel. Oladeji, thank you for joining us on the program today. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
As a colonel, though retired in the Nigerian Army, what are your views about the state of the Nigerian military? Because you will remember that upon the resumption, while the previous government, this government, were fighting terrorism, one of the critical points was that the Nigerian Army was short equipped, not enough equipment, no enough military hardware and weaponry to deal with insurgency in Nigeria. You have been in the army for such a long time, to the point you rose to the position of a colonel. What are your thoughts about the state of the Nigerian Army in terms of being equipped with the necessary military hardware?
Thank you, Mr. Tunde. The Nigerian Army is an institution that is bestowed with the responsibility of protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria. Before July 15 or 29, 2015, we know where we were as concerned or as regarding the security of Nigeria as a whole. Let me tell you that the whole of the Northeast, about 7 states of the Northeast, were under the control of the Boko Haram terrorists. But on the resumption of office of Mr. President, he mandated the military to relocate to Maiduguri, leaning on the instruction of Mr. President. The military generals moved their troops to Maiduguri. Our attitude, or the attitude of the government towards fighting this menace, I would say, was not thought encouraging by the previous administration. But recall that since the 2 years of Lieutenant General Buratai as the Chief of Army Staff, it has turned the face of the whole activities in the Northeast around. The Boko Haram terrorists has been decimated. Of recent, he gave 40-day ultimatum to the theater commanders that Shekau and his men must be brought down. I'm happy to tell you today that 5 key lieutenants of Shekau were eliminated, and about 82 Boko Haram terrorists were mauled down. I will give kudos to Mr. President for equipping the military and for encouraging the military.
Well, can I put you on hold? For equipping the military, are you saying that prior to May 29, the Nigeria Army was not equipped to deal with terrorism?
Not enough. Not enough, I would say. They did their best at that time, but it wasn't enough.
So do they have enough military hardware now?
There's always room for improvement.
What is the
You
current
cannot,
situation?
you cannot have everything you want.
Okay, but what is the current situation, if you do know?
We are better encouraged
Than the
equipped
previous
than the
administration.
previous administration.
Well,
Mr. President made it.
Lieutenant General Buratai
Yeah.
was the director of military procurement in the previous administration. It was his responsibility to procure military hardware and purchases and all necessary military equipment for the Nigeria Army in the previous administration as a director of procurement.
Lieutenant General Buratai
Was it that he wasn't doing?
It
what
was a
happened?
director, as you've just said, it was a director under his boss. He has no sole authority to procure anything for the army. Procurement has a lot of chains. The Minister of Defense is involved. The federal government of Nigeria is involved. Today, it is government to government. It cannot, as at then, do anything on its own. It was under the Chief of Defense Staff, whose responsibility is to coordinate with the Ministry of Defense and the federal government of Nigeria. So it wasn't its sole responsibility to procure anything for the army.
So, but at that time, as now, him being in charge of the Nigerian Army, he is done, in your opinion, he's done quite well?
He has done very well. Like I said, his 2 years in office has turned things around. In Nigeria, we have the army deployed in well over 27 states of Nigeria to combat one security challenge or the other. 27 states, the army is overwhelmed. If I must tell you, this gentleman has done very well.
Let's look at the welfare of the, you just said the Nigerian Army officers and men of the Nigerian Army are currently deployed in more than 27 states out of 32 states of Nigeria, fighting all manners of
Crime and criminalities.
and criminality in Nigeria. But in terms of the welfare of the Nigerian Army, the men and officers of the Nigeria, just a couple of months ago, about 6-7 months ago, we saw protests that those who are fighting Boko Haram were not being paid their required dues. Protest by the. But what is the general state of welfare of men and officers of the Nigerian Army, with specific reference to the junior officers?
This under this government, the welfare of men and officers have been given a kind of priority. Buratai knows that for his men to deliver, their welfare is of utmost importance to him. He will make suggestions to the government, because the money is not going to come from his pocket. He will make suggestions to the government, he will make suggestions to the Minister of Defense that this is, or these are the needs of my men. To the best of my ability, the government of the day has been trying, but there's always room for improvement. And I want to suggest that the government should do more to encourage the serving personnel, and including the retired ones, so that they don't join forces with other criminals to fight the government. It is very, very important. Welfare is very, very important. For a soldier that is fighting in the northeast there, if he knows that his welfare, that the welfare of his family is being looked at, he will continue to fight in high spirit. To a reasonable extent, the government of President Muhammad Buhari has done quite well.
Okay, now let's go to the main issue of insecurity in Nigeria. You've just said now that at least 27 states, there are 27 states at least across different parts of Nigeria where men and also Nigerian Army are currently being deployed. What does that mean? What does that say of security in Nigeria? If officers that are meant only for the territorial protection of Nigeria are now working right, deployed in states, which I think is an aberration, but where that happens, what does that mean of the state of security in Nigeria? Before you take that answer, let me take this call from another caller in there. Musa, good morning, Musa. Where are you calling from?
Hi, good morning. Can't hear very well, but my question really is just to the colonel. What would you say is the way forward for the Nigerian Army and for security in Nigeria? Is it going to get better, or is the challenges still going to be there? And what advice does he have for other people who are even worried and concerned about security challenges in the country, Nigeria? Thank you.
All right, thanks, Musa. I mean, that's a follow-on to the question I asked you. What does it say about security issue in Nigeria now? And the caller just said, what is the way forward? You want to take one after the other? First, 27 states now currently have men and officers in Nigeria being deployed, which you said has made them overwhelmed. What does that say of the security issues in Nigeria?
I said at the beginning of the program that no country will ever survive the kind of security challenges Nigeria is facing. The Boko Haram terrorists, the Biafra separatists, the Badu ritualists in the southwest, the Fulani herdsmen in the northwest, and there and there. The government is the government of the day. The government of President Muhammad Buhari is aware and conscious of the security challenges in the country. So he made it one of his cardinal points to find lasting solution to this menace. Hence, he mandated the military. Of recent, he just gave them another assignment to see to the end of all the security challenges in Nigeria. It's one of the cardinal points of the government. The military is not relenting. The military is ready under the leadership, most especially the army, under the leadership of Lieutenant General Buratai, to fight these insecurity challenges in Nigeria to stand still. Our men are deployed all over the places. The state governments too are helping. We must commend them. I'm aware in Lagos there's a foundation, security foundation. The government has done so well. All other states too, I'm aware of some other states too. In Borno State, the government of the day also is on top of the situation, synergizing and supporting the military. So if we get support from all the states of the Federation to support the military, I think in question of time, we'll put this behind us. In addition to that, every level of government must see to youth empowerment. We have an army of youth that is not engaged. Like the Bible said, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. If you engage, if you empower our youth, definitely it will reduce these security challenges all over Nigeria, and we are sure of peace.
All right, let's go on a short break now. When we come out from the short break, we'll take the question asked by Musa. What is the way forward for the Nigeria Army in their combative role against terrorism and insurgency in Nigeria? We'll come back after this short break.
Terrorism and militant attacks in the country. The Nigerian Army is seeking your support. Terrorists, militants, and other forms of criminals are not ghosts. They reside amongst you and me. And the Nigerian Army is doing everything possible to eradicate terrorism in the country. If you sense anything or anyone, suspect something or someone, please say it. You can also visit the nearest military unit in your vicinity for necessary actions to be taken against the criminals. Help us to keep you safe. Security is our collective responsibility. Let's all work together to achieve greatness. Again, if you see anything, say something. Your security is our priority. Let's all collectively say no to terrorism. Fellow Nigerians, with the high rate of terrorism and militant attacks in the country, the Nigerian Army is seeking your support. Terrorists, militants, and other forms of criminals are not ghosts. They reside amongst you and me. And the Nigerian Army is doing everything possible to eradicate terrorism in the country. If you sense anything or anyone, suspect something or someone, please say it. You can also visit the nearest military unit in your vicinity for necessary actions to be taken against the criminals. Help us to keep you safe. Security is our collective responsibility. Let's all work together to achieve greatness. Again, if you see anything, say something. Your security is our priority. Let's all collectively say no to terrorism.
All right, you're welcome back, and this is still Dialogue in Diaspora, coming to you live from Ben Television. I still have in the house retired Colonel Michael Oladeji in the studio. I've got Sam Ojediran. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, you're welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, just to contribute and say that the Nigerian territorial integrity is safe. There is no doubt about that. All we need now in the military is that the politicians, the political side, should trust the military the more and empower the military towards solving some of these security challenges we have in the nation. There is no doubt Nigeria is resilient. I don't think there is any other country that will have some of these security challenges and survive it. But because of the resilience of Nigeria, I can see that with little input from the government and trust by our politicians, the military and the power of the military, I am sure we are going to ride over all these issues. But why? They should go into dialogue with all the necessary, that is the political side of the equation. It's not just war, because we are fighting our own people. At the end of the day, all that you have some repercussions. So let them dialogue with all the people that they should dialogue with, solve the political problem, and ensure, like President Muhammadu Buhari is doing, good governance and accountability. With all this, I'm sure Nigeria will ride over all the security.
All right, Sam, thanks a lot for calling in. Thank you for being part of the program. Awesome. Thank you, Sam. All right, so what's the way forward in this combative role of the Nigerian Army against insecurity in Nigeria?
Welfare is key. We should continue to improve the welfare of our men, the fighting troops, those that are paying supreme sacrifice for us to have peace, those that are there not sleeping while we are sleeping. We should agitate more for their welfare. We should care more about their families. We can give education sponsorship to their families. The government, still on the military, we should combat on more training, get engaged in more training and retraining to improve on our performance. And on the part of government, the government should seriously look into the welfare of the military, like I said before, both serving and retired. Government should provide more equipment to fight the war. You cannot fight the war with your bare hand. Government should provide more equipment. Government should be on top of the situation. Government should embark on empowerment program for the youth. The youth are the mostly engaged in all these activities. Let us get them engaged so that we know we are sure of our peace.
Okay. All right, let me take Emmanuel. I've got Emmanuel on the line. Emmanuel, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Good morning, Dr. Tunde.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah, and good morning to Colonel.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my contribution is this. When we are talking about the governance and security challenges of the country, I think personally it embodies every Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's not a question of one particular person or the other. When we talk about the security, we are talking security from all hemispheres of the governance, which means food, which means road, which means inclusiveness in governance, from my own perspective. I want to ask the Colonel, I'm so happy the way he spoke, but at the same time, I'm still worried that I'm just asking Colonel this question, can you get a security embodied in a particular state or government without inclusive politics? Because today, if even the blind can see that Nigerian politics, no matter, I know some people will say maybe I'm not trying to bring in hate speech. The point is we need to face realities of life. Nigeria today, they are playing exclusive politics, and exclusive politics cannot bring about security in any state whatsoever. Colonel, please, from your experience, I have high respect for you. I know who you are. Do you think that present situation in Nigeria embodies security when the government themselves are playing insecurity by not involving certain sections of the country, and then the country today, when you look at it, you discover that there is injustice, there is inequality, there is marginalization, and this is what people are clamoring for them to sit on the table. Because for you to get the security of a country, you must get all the people on board so that we will be safe. Because you cannot get a security of a country by being sectional of what the present government is doing.
All right,
we have
Manuel.
to say the truth.
All right,
Whether
Manuel.
you speak it, you will die. If you don't speak it, you will still die. According to Dino, he said, I better speak the truth and let me die.
All right, Manuel. Thank you so much
That's my
for
question.
thank you for your contribution. I mean, you do understand the point of Emmanuel. Emmanuel is saying there is a high level of injustice, high level of marginalization, high level of inequality brought on the people by the government, who in itself has become an insecurity to the masses of Nigeria. What do you have to say?
I don't want to preempt what our elders are doing at the moment. But I want to assure him, Mr. Emmanuel, that our elders are already discussing this at every regional level, and they are taking up the government of the day on this particular issue. I'm privileged to meet one of them on my way here, and he discussed, or he told me at length what they are doing at every regional level to come into town with, or to bring the issue before the government of the day. And I know the government we have today is a listening government. In a very short time now, we will see the result of these various meetings of our elders. Don't let me preempt what they are
But
doing.
in your opinion, would you agree with Emmanuel that there's injustice, marginalization, and inequality in the country?
That is part of what is causing the agitations across the zones of Nigeria.
So
Do you
would
understand?
you say, as part of empowerment and equipping the Nigerian military, the government should also look at empowering and equipping the Nigerian masses, not equipping them with weapons and guns, but with welfare, jobs?
As part of this government's cardinal point, they have it to turn the economy of Nigeria around. If the government is able to achieve that, you understand, give loans to the lower downtrodden people, provide job opportunities for people, our food security, look into it. How can we be self-sufficient in food production? If government is able to do this, I think it will go a long way.
Okay, all right. I've got Tayo on the line. Tayo, thank you so much for holding on, Tayo. Good morning, Tayo. Go ahead and make your point.
Yeah, hello to you, panel. The man was saying that you asked the man if the previous government did not have equipment for the past soldiers. And I'm saying to you, I've not been to Nigeria for 20-something years, but I remember watching them. They look really bad. The so-called equipment they have then was more like Boko Haram even have, hello?
Go on, Tayo.
Okay, it was more like Boko Haram even had better equipment than them. That was what I saw through the TV, and there was no discipline. So since this government has come in, it's not going to solve all Nigerian problems in 4 years or 3 years' time, because Nigerian problem has been there. But I will urge Nigerians to learn how to come together and let's work for the benefit of our country. The soldier has been equipped very well. The soldier, they look more disciplined. They are clean. I remember before they were politician soldiers. I saw them through the TV. But now it's much disciplined, the way they look and the way they talk, unlike before. And for the caller that just called that says,
how did you, Tayo? How did you come to that analysis? Are you a military officer?
How did I come to that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I come to it because of what I see through the TV.
What you saw on the TV, what you saw on the TV previously showed that the Nigerian Army in the past were political, but now they are more,
yeah, because they do interview with them, and I see the way they look. I remember before they used to have like very overweight, very fat with their big stomach. They just look bad. They didn't look like soldiers. They looked like.
All right, Tayo. Thank you for your contribution.
Oh no, can I say about what the guy that called previously?
Oh, okay, go on.
Every opportunity the Igbo have, they want to call in and talk about marginalization. Can I just say?
Well, how do you know that Emmanuel is Igbo?
Because I'm from the East. I was born in Lagos. I'm from the East.
So because Emmanuel called in, Tayo Womini, because Emmanuel called in to speak about injustice, marginalization, and equality in Nigeria, he is Igbo.
Listen, I know what I'm saying.
That's what you just said, Tayo.
That's not what I'm going to be going through. Can I just quickly say what I need to say?
But that is what you just said.
So do you want me to continue, please?
Unless you want to retract that statement that, well, you didn't mean that it was Igbo.
That is from Igbo.
Sorry?
When I know his voice and I know his accent.
So because of his voice, you conclude he must be Igbo.
His accent is Igbo. I'm not gonna say. If you don't want me to watch your program,
no, it's not about watching program. It's about you. It's about contributors talking as Nigerian.
You have a program that you're supposed to call.
Can I have Tayo out of the program, please? Please. No, it's about you talking as a Nigerian, not as a sectional person, because a caller called in, spoke about injustice, marginalization, inequality. He is Igbo, and you are Yoruba. This is one Nigeria. What do you think? Because somebody called in to say, no, there's injustice, marginalization, inequality in the country, so the caller must be Igbo because of his accent. What does that say of the way we think in the country, please?
What I will say in this situation is to appeal to everybody, every stakeholder.
Before you appeal, we've got to address the state of mind of Nigerians.
Yeah.
We tend to be a little bit sectional in our analysis.
Nigeria is one, and Mr. President said it, that the indivisibility of Nigeria is not something that you put on table to negotiate.
Okay, one, on that side. Second, the caller said by what she saw on the screen, the Nigerian army under the previous government looked like a political army, not professional, not really dignified. Colonel, what's the Nigerian army not really dignified under previous administration?
That's our own view.
But what is the view of what is your view as a professional, as an army officer in the Nigerian army?
The Nigerian army I served for 3 decades is still the same army that is in existence today. Yes, at a point in time, we found ourselves in governance for a period of time. In 1999, when the then President Olusegun Obasanjo came on board, he said there are some political soldiers, and he went on mass retirement of the so-called those who are involved in governance at one point or the other. And since then, it is a situation that called for us to come in, whether you like it, whether you don't like it. In the history of Nigeria, the military has a space.
Okay, let me put on. I've got Ade on line. Ade, thank you for holding on. Good morning, Ade.
Morning, Mr. Tunde. How are you?
I'm doing well. Go ahead and make your point.
To your guest. What I want to say this morning is this. I just want to have 2 or 3 things, and I'll quickly rush in and say what I want to say. In terms of the reason of this agitation here in Nigeria, simply is just because, and that is, I will be frank to you today, it is fact. And we knew that this will happen during the election of 2015. We see how dirty that politics we are played by our politicians and leaders. And we know that then, if Jonathan won that election, the crisis will continue in the north. We all know that if Buhari wins that election, there will be problems in the region of South, and even Southeast, because these people voted for Jonathan. I will tell you this: someone mentioned marginalization. 6 years of Jonathan government, the Yoruba nation was marginalized. I live in Kaduna. I'll tell you of Nigeria Defense Academy during Jonathan time. The Southeast man, who is the commandant of Nigerian Defense Academy, was alleged of misappropriation. The next to take over, that should have taken over, should be a Yoruba man. If you remember then, the elders of Yoruba traveled to Abuja to tell Jonathan, we voted for 2011, but we got nothing from you. An election is coming. Remember, you are coming to us. We heard that the NDA commandant is going to be replaced. We hope you are not going to get rid of the Yoruba man there. What happened? Jonathan promised them. Well, they went back to the southwest. They retired that general, and Hausa man was there.
What is the point that you want to make? What is, I haven't got the time. What's the point? Go straight to the point you want to make, Ade.
What is this marginalization of the thing? What I try to tell people that make noise of marginalization is that the Yoruba people was marginalized for 6 years during Jonathan. We didn't cause any problem. We waited for our vote. We waited for election time. And we voted the person that's going to give us. That is the fact.
So what are you saying? No, what are you saying now? There's no marginalization again in Nigeria. Are you saying there's no inequality in the country? Are you saying there's no injustice? Just go straight to the. I don't get your fact. I don't get what you're saying.
It's just this marginalization of this thing didn't just started from this comment. Every region in Nigeria are marginalized. Even when you see region, if you are from Southwest, you see, let's say Ogun State. Some local governments, some places are marginalized.
Let me get this straight. So your point is marginalization is across every sphere of Nigeria.
Are you not Nigeria? Why are you asking me this?
I just want to get your point straight. You are giving me examples that are not coordinated. I just want you to make your point.
Every region in Nigeria are marginalized.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ade. That's just the point we want to get. I wanted to make. All right. I'm being signaled to go on a short break. Ade, I just want to cut you because I'm being signal to get on the next break. We'll go on a very few minutes break. We'll be back. Continue the show. Don't go away.
Country. The Nigerian army is seeking your support. Terrorists, militants, and other forms of criminals are not ghosts. They reside amongst you and me. And the Nigerian army is doing everything possible to eradicate terrorism in the country. If you sense anything or anyone, suspect something or someone, please say it. You can also visit the nearest military unit in your vicinity for necessary actions to be taken against the criminals. Help us to keep you safe. Security is our collective responsibility. Let's all work together to achieve greatness. Again, if you see anything, say something. Your security is our priority. Let's all collectively say no to terrorism.
All right, you're welcome to the program. Let me quickly say on the show, I hold every caller, every of my viewer a responsibility to protect you. If a caller calls into the program, we hold you that responsibility to protect you, not for another caller to bully you out of the show. We wouldn't take it that a caller calls in and say, no, because you're Igbo, or because you're Yoruba, because you're Hausa. We wouldn't take that on the show. You could call in, make your point straight without reference to regionalizing the position of callers on the program. We wouldn't take that. We'll protect every caller, and everybody has entitlement to his or our opinion and straight fact that we got to make clear on the show. All right. Colonel, quickly, part of the, you said that part of the insecurity the Nigerian government is dealing with is the agitation in the Southeast. Is there any agitation in the Southeast?
We have agitations across the zones.
What kind of agitation do we have in the Southeast? Who are
We have the Biafra separatists in the Southeast.
Let's turn that. The Biafra separatists in the South, are they agitators?
They are.
Are they armed agitators?
I cannot.
So if they are not
say
armed,
that,
if they are not, well, we know they've not carried arms. Good. But if they are not armed agitator, why would armed officers go after Nigerians who are just protesting and voicing their opinions about their belief? Why?
Why will armed
officers of the
officers
Nigerian army go after, by report we have read, kill protesters that are not harmed, just voicing their opinions about their country and about their state of position? The people that are called the Biafrans, IPOB.
Suppose the protests get out of control, if I may ask. Suppose the protests...
But these protesters under the IPOB and Biafra...
They might not carry arms.
They are not carrying arms.
Suppose they carry matches.
That's an arm.
That's arm. Yeah.
But
you understand?
That matter we have seen.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we've not seen any.
What?
Report we have seen from Amnesty did show that unarmed protesters in the Southeast under IPOB were killed for protesting. And you've just said now,
how true is that report?
Again, you've just said on the show now that part of the insecurity being dealt with in Nigeria is also the Biafran separatists.
Part.
Okay.
Part. Like I said, we have agitations across the board, across the zones of Nigeria. Some callers have just called in. You understand? All across the zones of Nigeria, we have agitations.
But if there are agitations across board,
so
what should the government do? Is it to deploy military to deal with the agitators, or to deploy dialogue? Hold the question. I'm sorry, sir. Let me take Ezekiel. Ezekiel, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you, Ezekiel, for calling in. Where are you calling from?
I am coming from Manchester.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ezekiel.
Yes, actually, what I want to contribute to the governance of the security challenges in Nigeria. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ezekiel. Go on.
Okay. Everywhere in the world, there are a lot of challenges of security. But where Nigeria is suspected that there should be a challenge, Nigeria should send the military intelligence to the place where there is the challenges before they can send the military forces. Because if they send military forces to anywhere where there are challenges in Nigeria, they will continue killing the innocent people. But the place where there is the challenges, military sends intelligence and find out what is the part of that challenges in that area. If they can sort that out, there will be we will not have a lot of challenges security in Nigeria. And at the same time, every state government, I repeat, every state government should have their own military standby and their military intelligence in which they can sort their problems. Because when we're talking about challenges, everywhere in the world there are challenges. But we must make sure that we tackle our own challenges before we can even think we are governing a country. Right now, the Biafra or whatsoever call themselves say they have their own security. What kind of security would that be Nigerian security? In the first instance, I advise the government to send the military intelligence to that area. If it is true that they have the security, then they should dismantle them. Because this is how Boko Haram formed, because they were lacking, the government lacking the hand of effort in order to dismantle the Boko Haram, and the Boko Haram now become a challenge to Nigeria. So we shouldn't have a kind of challenges again in Nigeria, except we are not know what we are doing.
All right, Ezekiel, thank you so much. All right, thank you, Ezekiel, for your contribution. Okay, the question before we took that call: where are the agitations in Nigeria? Is it military that the government should deploy, or dialogue?
I encourage dialoguing. Government should dialogue with agitators to get a lasting solution to problems. Like one of the colleagues said, Mr. Samuel Jedino, it is not every time we war. Sometimes we should judge. When war failed, we should come back to judge. Let's do more of dialogue.
All right, Colonel, let me ask you this question. What is the military actually meant for? Internal or external? Their principal responsibility?
Protect the territorial integrity.
Is that internal or external? Territorial.
Territorial.
Is that internal or external?
Internal.
Territorial.
Oh, yes.
So,
because your territory is internal to you.
No. So you're saying protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria from whom? From Nigerians or from outsiders, from invaders?
Nigeria's inclusive. It's an all-embracing task. So that is why you have them deployed in well over 27 states of the nation.
So in what you're saying, that technically the Nigerian army is designed to quell insecurity,
insurgencies.
So what role should the other forces like the Nigerian police, the state security, and other?
The Nigerian police to maintain.
What are their roles?
The Nigerian police to maintain peace and order.
In or outside?
In.
What about the Nigerian army? Protect the territorial integrity. Who amongst the two has the responsibility from? Let's talk. You're professionals. So you served in this country, sir. In terms of primary responsibility, the Nigerian police, who has responsibility to dealing with security issue?
When the police is overwhelmed with issues of security, the army is called in.
Takes over.
So
but initially,
the extent of the military
power,
job, assignment
will be determined
you
by
understand?
The level of insecurity.
Exactly.
I get that.
So it's not limited to
people have said,
fighting external aggressions alone.
People have said that why deploy the Nigerian army to deal with protesters?
It's Boko Haram. It's Boko Haram.
Protesters.
No, it's Boko Haram.
That's an insult.
Is it external?
That is terrorism.
No, they started. from mere political thuggery, insurgency.
But are the Nigerian police, the intelligence arm of the Nigerian police, the DSS or whatever, if they had done their job, if they had, just like we have the MI5, MI6 in the UK, yes, if they had done their job, would we have the need for the Nigerian army to be doing this hard job they are doing on Boko Haram today?
Well, let me just tell you today that now that the military, the army, the navy, the air force, the Nigerian police, civil defense, they are all working together now. Maybe in the past, they are not working together, sharing of information, you understand? They are not doing that, but as at this moment, there is a kind of synergy amongst them and the suspects we are recording now.
Let me tell you, Lucky. Lucky, good morning. Thank you, Lucky, for joining us on the program. Oh, I think we lost Lucky. Lucky, sorry for holding you there. All right, we just lost the caller. Moving on from this, what does the future hold for the Nigerian army in its fight against insurgency and other criminal elements in Nigeria?
The future for the army is bright. We have a good Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, who has a deep knowledge of the army. He has a deep knowledge of the territory. He has a good grip of the army. He knows what he's doing. He's on top of the situation. He has good field commanders who are working day and night. The army should be more supported. I said it earlier on, in terms of welfare by the government and by every individual. Security is not one man show. Security involves you and I. When you see something, say something. When you see a strange man in your neighborhood, get appropriate security agency involved. You have played your own role by that. On the part of government, let them do the needful. Look into their welfare, both serving and retired. Equip the military, and on the part of the military, they should embark on training and retraining so that they will always be abreast of the situation.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. I've been talking with Colonel Oladoji Michael, retired, an officer of the Nigeria Army, who has been sharing with us from his professional experience in the Nigeria Army, the challenges, the security challenges in Nigeria, and the role being played by the current military leadership and the Nigerian government. It's been a pleasure, Colonel, having you on the program today.
Thank you very much, sir.
Right, this is how far we can go on the show. Unfortunately, we are not able to go any further or take any more calls. But next week is another day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
With the high rate of terrorism and militant attacks in the country, the Nigerian Army is seeking your support. Terrorists, militants, and other forms of criminals are not ghosts. They reside amongst you and me. And the Nigerian Army is doing everything possible to eradicate terrorism in the country. If you sense anything or anyone, suspect something or someone, please say it. You can also visit the nearest military unit in your vicinity for necessary actions to be taken against the criminals. Help us to keep you safe. Security is our collective responsibility. Let's all work together to achieve greatness. Again, if you see anything, say something. Your security is our priority. Let's all collectively say no to terrorism.